Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Where are we? It's Thursday, the 7th of November. Volume definitely lower today. It's all right. I'm in a trade at the moment. It's just an evaluation. It's going against me, I think. We'll have to see. Only needed a point and a quarter to pass it, so I might have to get out of it. Let's see if this thing's going to go up any more or not. Let's have a look. It is going a bit sideways. Hopefully we come back a little bit. Let's have a look. I think this thing is going to continue up. So let's just give it some space. It may turn up here, I'm hoping. So it looks like a strong trend day starting to, isn't it? Yeah, I'm hoping we get back to that EMA. Sort of had a couple of legs. I'm hoping it turns here. I don't mind risking it. It's only an evaluation, but I don't want to throw it away because I was up quite a bit, but surely this has got to come down now, you'd think anyway. So that all-time highs is continuing on up. Let's leave that there. Trouble is, just when you think this thing can't go up anymore, it just continues on up. But that's quite a strong push, that is. So I'd expect something back to the EMA. At least I can get something out of this. It is frustrating though. I'm just gonna have to give it the space. If I lose it, I lose it. It's a small bars. Yeah, it is a bit, isn't it? It's gonna have a pullback surely because we're at the top of this channel now. Well, I say surely, there's not such thing, is there? But hopefully have a quick push and I can get out of this with maybe only losing so much of it. There's going to be liquidity along here, possibly down here. So I'm hoping we get a pullback here. We're at the top of the channel anyway. I can pull that in a bit. And we're right at the top here. So hopefully this thing has a bit of a pullback. I'm going to leave that there actually. Well, you guys can't see really, can you? But I'm hoping this gets down to about here. This is where my order is 75. It should come out and clean this liquidity up, hopefully. So, right, folks, I'm going to have to go just for about 10 minutes. I'm going to leave this trade there. I've just got to have a window panel fitted. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Sorry about that. It's all right. He should be okay, I think, by himself. I'm going to put this like this. I don't want to risk anymore. Hopefully we're going to get a leg and a leg. Excuse me. Come on, push. Push. There is liquidity down here, so I'm hoping this has a quick leg down. Okay, there is a second entry long. I'm hoping this triggers and comes down. I wouldn't want to take a trade here after that push down. We could get another push down. Depends how strong this market is, really. Come on, push down. It is FOMC day, yeah. I'm hoping this has a quick drop. So down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. It's going to be longs in there for sure. So I'm hoping this has a quick flush down. If it does, I can get out of it with minimal loss. Yeah, I have got a workman in. I may need to nip off just for a minute, but he should be okay. He's just putting a couple of window panels in. A couple of window panels and some insulation on the door, so he's probably only going to be here 15-20 minutes. So come on, drop. It doesn't want to come down, does it? I can't see it continuing up. Surely not there. Now, all-time highs are here, so we know there is... it could push up here, touch this and come down, so hopefully this is going to have a flush down. I think it will, because there's going to be easy liquidity there, and if we're in this channel, we're in the middle, so it's got to push down surely. I know I say surely. I certainly wouldn't be trading this on a PA account, only an evaluation, because my gut tells me leg in a leg, which is why I'm doing it. How did the British media react to the American elections? I don't know, to be honest with you, mate. I haven't really watched much. I don't know, really. In fact, I pay more attention to the US elections because I don't really, but obviously as a trader, obviously, you know, it's good to be aware of it and it can affect you. Come on, just drop quickly. German media was unhappy with her early. You never really know. I mean, Trump to me doesn't come over as like very presidential type, you know, some behaviour, but a lot of people say was good for the country. So, you know, I don't know. It doesn't affect me directly. So mixed depending on politics bias. Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff he comes out with doesn't seem very presidential, but it's the old thing. Do you want someone who comes over presidential who doesn't deliver? I don't really know much about him, to be honest with you. Come on, liquidity there and there, surely. Don't tell me this thing's going to go up some more. Could do. But he was supposed to be good for the country, wasn't he? So I don't really know. Obviously, when you don't live in the US, it doesn't affect me. You know, obviously I'm aware of it because of, you know, because obviously being a trader, but, you know, as for how it affects me directly, I think we got a better chance of having a trade deal. The trouble is buying things from the US is cheap, but it's the import taxes and that you got to pay. Import tax. It's flipping expensive. 1, 2, 3 possible triple test. So I'm going to just risk this account. Wait until that second entry long. Here, I'm not taking a trade there because it's going sideways. We're right at all-time highs, so this could have a flush down. So I'm leaving alone just at the moment. Second entry long there, failure. It's all-time highs here, so you don't know what it's going to do. Well, this is going to blow this account, I think, if it gets any higher. We'll get to the top of this channel, see, so I'd expect a pullback. You took that long, did you? Yeah, it's a bit congested to me. There is a second entry short there, I suppose, so, but there ain't much room to the highs, that's the trouble. Let's have a look. So if you took it here, there's only a point to the highs, so we've hit the top of this channel, so you don't know whether this is going to trigger this and then drop. So there's just no space at the top, really. I'm I'm hoping this has a flush down. See what I mean? We're right at the top there. If there's just no space to the top, so you just don't know what's going to happen here. There's 1 point from a tick above there. It doesn't give you much. And we're right at the top of this channel, so I'd expect half a decent pullback. Well, that's how I've got it anyway. I mean, if you look at the top there, in fact, I can bring that down a touch more. If you look there, perfect touch, perfect touch, perfect touch, perfect touch, perfect right the way along there, perfect here, absolutely perfect there. That's the channel for me, and we're right at the top of it. And obviously, we've been up and made a new high, so you don't know how far that's going to go. How many do I trade on the valuation? On this one, I've just got 4 contracts on this one. It's going to blow this account, I think. It's all right, it's only an evaluation. I'm hoping it's going to come down here, see. I actually went short here, thinking it's more aggressive, granted, but I thought this is going to come down. Did I go short here? Yeah, I think I did. I thought this is going to come down to here, leg down, leg down. But it's continuing on up. Not much left. We're right at the top of this channel. Last time we were out of it, we came down. Same again, we were up, we came down, we were up, we came down, we were up, we came down. So I'm trading kind of on my gut feeling rather than waiting for a sort of a setup. Only because it's an evaluation, I wouldn't trade that. I wouldn't trade that on a PA account. I'm hoping this is a flush down below these. Once it's at the top, you'd expect it to at least come down to the midline. See that one there? We had 3 bars there and it came down. We've got 3 bars here, so I'm hoping this comes down. We've just broken all-time highs again, so we may have a pullback, a decent pullback here. We'll see. There's liquidity here. I'm hoping we have a leg and a leg, and this flushes all this out. Liquidity there, I expect that to get taken. Liquidity there, I expect that. So that's gone. Let's see what happens. I'm hoping we get a decent pullback to here, which would sort that trade out. Doesn't affect your trading psychology, trading, a feeling, and evaluation. Not really, no. Goes through my last 5 trades. No. Come on, we've got to get below here. Come on. Big push, come on. You got some nice big bars there. Let's at least get down to here. I don't mind a pullback. That might take some longs in there, but I wouldn't want to go long here below that EMA, so it's going to sit tight. I'm hoping that EMA, that bar triggers and then comes down for another leg to the bottom. It's only a first entry, see, so if that comes down, that'll get down to my target. It's triggered on this. It's not triggered on my other chart, but I wouldn't take this to first entry, leg and a leg, so I expect it to get below there. If it gets below there, it may get below here. We'll see. I could do with a little flush down, help me out here. Come on, drop your bummer. Interesting to see what happens here. It triggers below here. Come on, drop below that bull bar. It's got to. Leg and a leg. Surely. It's triggered it by one tick and working down. If it gets below here, it should get to the bottom here, and that'll get me where I need to be. Right.
Order filled.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, I might have screwed my pooch here. I've gone in with more contracts thinking I don't need to get as low. This is going to screw me, this is. Oh, I was so hoping it was going to break below there. Come on. Might still yet. Second entry short. Here we go. Come on. Let's have a bit of a look. Yeah, I'm short, yeah. No, you can't see it. It's on here. It's on the top chart. It's going to blow now anyway. Oh, that's a shame. I thought for sure that was going to break below there. What I did, as it was coming down, I increased my orders, so a couple of ticks below there would give me profit. And as I increased my orders, it went up. So there's only about 800. There's not much left on it. I'm just hoping. Channel down, 1, 2 pushes up. As we're testing this again, I'm hoping this is going to come down. Second entry short. If we can get below there by a couple of ticks, that'll give me profit to pass the account, but it's going against me, I think, which is a shame. There we go. My order's 2 ticks below here. My profit, I think. 3 ticks below here. Come on. Channel down, 2 pushes up. Come on, get below that EMA. There's going to be longs here and longs here. We're off this bottom, see. Come on, push, push, come on. Leg, 2 legs up, leg. See on Thomas Wade Discord, so finally found you. What's your indicators, news, and New York, London time? These here, bud, they're not they're not indicators. They are widgets. It's going to screw me now. They're widgets. They are called desktop clock time zone widgets. So just Google it. Google them. I think they're on Windows, I think. Just Windows, bud. This is going to blow this account now, I think, if it goes any higher. A few more ticks and I'm done. Come on. Drop you, bugger. Come on. You're welcome. You're welcome, mate. Andrew Skipper. Where are you from, bud, anyway? 2 for down, I'm out. Good on you, Speedy. Good on you, mate. Oh, Cheshire. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not far from you. Shropshire, I am. Shrewsbury. Yeah, we're not far from you, Cheshire. It's only up the road, is it? Well, Chester from here is about 45 miles, so yeah, it's not far. Ah, good, you're not far. There is a guy around here that comes in now and again from Malpass, which is around about Whitchurch area, so yeah, you're not far away. Strong reversal pair, well, let's hope so, mate. Just down there. Yeah, not far away, are you? I was about 3 ticks off getting stopped out on that evaluation. It may still go up. I don't know. I'm hoping it doesn't go any higher than this. Not having it. I never get any issues. I've never had an issue with ghost orders on. It's going up again with ghost orders on Replicanto. In fact, I never get any issues with Replicanto. Period. I think it's a great bit of software. Come on, come down. No, I'm done for now. A tick away. That's it, surely.
Order cancelled.
Yeah, that's gone. Oh, that's a shame. I thought we were going to come down then. Oh, well. It's only an evaluation. Right, let's get back to business. Okay, so 107. Let's just make sure PA orders are opening.
Order submitted.
Evaluation's done
Order
so
cancelled.
I don't need that. It's still there, so let's just reconnect this. Disconnect and connect. To the fail second entry short there, that one there. Yeah. I was focusing on that evaluation. Oh well. Never mind. I don't mind when they're cheap. So let me have a look. Apex support said it's all copies, not just Nitro copy. I don't know. Did you hear? Has anybody heard about Apex moving to straight to a live account, or having that option? Apparently, they're introducing being able to move straight to a PA account. I watched a video last night. Yeah. Where's the video? Let me see if I can find the video. Oh, look, now it's coming down. God damn it. Oh, well. Let me have a look on my history. Let's find it.
Pass rate, 20% more people pass trailing than pass.
That's the one there. Apex is changing the game updates. Let's have a look. Plans in this video, we'll go over new product Apex plans to offer, how it will work. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, have a look at that. Moving straight to, that's it there, Apex is changing the game. It was yesterday, I think. So they're going to introduce straight to a live account. I haven't got a clue when or what it's going to cost. But yeah, that's what they're doing. They talk about how much that. No, to be fair, I've just saw little clips of it. It more just sparked my interest. Sorry, straight to PA account, straight to PA account, yeah. Like what's it did. Fast track trading. So it'll just miss out that. I mean, the trouble is, it's whether it's going to be worth it or not, isn't it? But I mean, if it's, I don't know, $150, $200, something like that, you may want to do it. I mean, at the moment, evaluation's about $33 and $85. So it's about, what, $115. So maybe they charge you an extra $50. I don't know. I hope they don't go mad, because I think fast track trading initially went up to about $400, which is just madness, isn't it? So, but I think things are changing. I don't understand the advantage of that. Well, I mean, if you've got, yeah, I mean, if you need accounts because you haven't got your full 20, it can indicate that you're blowing accounts, which means you're buying straight back in. Now, if you can control your emotions and you're doing well and you want the you know, you want the ability to get straight onto a PA. If for a good trader, someone who's making money and can make money, I think it's okay. But for anybody else, it's not. I don't know whether I do it personally myself. Obviously, it depends how much it is. You know, but took that fell second entry short as well. That one there. Yeah, my concern here is we got a leg down with a break. There's always a possibility we could get down here. That's based on my chart anyway. So Thomas Wade, see, that to me looks perfect. Thomas Wade has got it like that, see. So I'm not so sure. It's going more this angle. You know what I mean? Whereas that channel is going more that angle. So for me, it doesn't work. I'm not saying it's not, but look how that top's working away. That's not doing it by accident. That's working along somewhere. People are taking profits at that level. So to me, this is more like a spike in a channel. That's my personal opinion. It's touching perfect there, perfect there, perfect there. It should be a spike and channel. Yeah, I just like the way it's working along the top. It is important that you can see people taking profits in exactly the same place every time. That tells me this is the way it's working, but that's my personal opinion. I just like how neat it's fitting. This thing's just going up and up. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, I think it's visually important to look what sort of angle it's taking. And not only that, you can see how it's working around the midline. You can see how it's working there. You can see how it's working there. And look at that. So for me, there's a lot of how it visually looks as well. But I don't know. You know, it may change and I may adjust it to the way Thomas has got it. But at the moment, it's just kind of how I see it. I have learned that when you've been doing it a little while, you've got to kind of go with what feels right for you and copying other people sometimes. I like to, if I'm not sure about something, then that's where I may adjust it to what someone else is doing it. You know, obviously two heads are better than one. But that kind of looks better to me personally. I forgot to mention, I did take a trade day before yesterday, about 30 seconds after we closed. So, yeah, it was a day before yesterday. Just as we'd finished. Yeah, how far I got to go down? Where did I finish? It was a second entry long. I finished around here. Which trade did I take? That one there. It's just how I finished. I had this channel going up and I finished about here, I think. I thought it was going to rocket up. We had a second entry long and I jumped in there. And that was actually a really nice trade. It worked beautifully, that. Let's just get this back here. So, sorry if you can hear banging. We've just had a couple of blown sealed units in the windows in my front room. There's a guy just replacing them. He knows I'm up here anyway. Trouble is, when we have one of these channels where it's working in a separate tier, it always makes me nervous going along here because I know we can get down to the bottom. Perhaps it's just me. It might be just me. We all have these little things, don't we, where we kind of find it uncomfortable. I much rather In fact, I love that bar actually. Well, I don't love the size of it, but I love the bar. It's confirming that, and that higher low there worked beautifully. But okay, excuse me just for a quick minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay, sorry about that. Let's have a look. So we had this little bit of a pullback. We've had a leg and a leg. We're coming up to the top again. Constantly making new highs. How's crypto doing today? I think Bitcoin got up to 76,000 last night, I think. 75,000 now. Excuse me a sec. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so that all-time highs is just continuing on up. Okay. Right, that channel's still working. That ATR is nice and low as well, which is improved from yesterday. Now, some people have got this as a break. Not quite sure how. So they've got that from here as a break. I don't see how you can have a... They've got a... I don't know what's going on with their charts, to be honest with you. They've got a break here. That's unusual. They've got it from there, same place, touching there, touching there. And they've got a clear break there. That's unusual. Which is there. I don't even know how I could... If I do that there and put that there, I'm still nowhere near a break. That's unusual. Seems to be a midline in play. Yeah. It's definitely working along the midline. You can see it there. A couple of bounces. You can see it there and here, right the way along here. I'll tell you what, it'd be interesting to see. We're only 20 points away from that magical 6,000. Be interested to see whether we hit that or not today and how it reacts to it. I think usually when it hits a number like that, a round number, usually that's where a lot of people taking profits and stuff. So yeah, it'd be interesting to find out exactly what Apex are going to do, but have a look at that video and have a look. But yeah, they are introducing straight to PA. I don't know when. I'm assuming it's soon. I don't know when or what it's going to cost, but that'll be interesting. Certainly nice to have the option if you want, you know. You heard November the 20th, so where are we now? So a couple of weeks away. 13 days away. How you doing, John? 13 days away. They're introducing straight to PA, you know, like fast track trading do. Now, I'm assuming they're still keeping evaluations as well for people who, you know, want the traditional route, but they are moving over, or they're introducing straight to PA. Excellent. Good on you, mate. So that'll be interesting. I mean, it'd be interesting to know what they're going to charge. I hope they just don't go astronomical like fast track trading did. That was just crazy. Bring more money since, yeah. And there's a lot of talk about the CME group wanting more people onto live accounts. I don't know. I don't understand how that really works. That's like forcing people who are working on a sim to move onto a live account. I think the only time to go onto a live account is when you can generally trade consistently, which sort of very few of us can do at the moment. Well, certainly around people around my level. Obviously, as we sort of get better, we'll get better and better. But it'd be nice if Apex started. In fact, yeah, they are doing. I'm not sure when, but John mentioned. John mentioned 20th November. But yeah, look at that video. But they are introducing it straight to PA. But yeah, apparently the CME group want more people on live accounts. I don't know why, apart from the fact that they're making money out of it. But yeah, did you not know they are, Jan? Yeah, they are. That I watched the video earlier on this morning. Have you just come in, Jan? You might have missed that. Let me just show you. History. Let's have a look. Oh, this is one. Yeah. Watch this one. I watched this earlier on this morning. New product. Straight to. So I've got rid of the sound about it, but have a look at that one. Apex is changing the game update 3.0. New prop firm. Future account. So they're moving, or they're giving options to move to straight to a funded account. So no messing around with evaluations. Yeah. Have a look at that video, bud. I'm not. Well, John says apparently he's heard that it may be the 20th of November, but yeah, they are introducing straight to a funding account. Apex have really had to pull their finger out, haven't they? You know, with when things went wrong a little bit. And Apex were all kind of a game changer. They introduced the bigger discounts first. They kind of just fitted in that perfect slot, which made them kind of popular. So they've had to pull their finger out a bit and up the game, which I think they're doing. I think the rules are more stable. You know where you stand a lot more. PAs are on a sim, but you have the ability to start building profits straight away. But I believe more people are going to be going on to actual live trading accounts. I don't know how it's going to work, or you know, what is the you know, sort of to what level where you're trading is where they do move you onto a live account. You know, apparently when you go to a live account, they lump sum all your money, and I kind of like the fact that all I have to think about doing is trading one account, and the others just copy automatically in the background, so you don't have to think about a large amount of dollars, you know, moving up and down before your eyes. They're paying you. Basically, yeah, it just saves you having to go through that evaluation period. I mean, I think evaluations obviously serve a purpose, you know, for people who are learning and moving to that next level where they start to incorporate some sort of risk. So they definitely play a part. I don't believe they're getting rid of them. I just believe they're introducing it to people who may want to take that route. You have to pay minimum $118 for 50k funded. They have talked about. No, they haven't made. They haven't yet, but it is something they are. I'll look at that video. I've only had sort of flick for it, but yeah, that's what he was talking about, Daryl Martin. So this is something in the pipeline. But John seems to think he's heard November the 20th. I mean, fast track trading, I don't hear good things about it. Not so much the company, it's more the CEO just comes over as a little bit unprofessional. Some of the language he uses and the way he talks to some people, it doesn't put your mind at ease, giving them money. I mean, we've got to be due for a pullback, surely, haven't we? It's been so strong. We're making all-time highs after all-time highs. I mean, look at that, just over the last couple of days, well, the last few days. I mean, that day was astronomical. That's the biggest day we've had in a long while, I think. 150 points. I mean, crikey, we'd made 138 points by about 8:45 in the morning UK time. That's crazy, that is, isn't it? I believe they've got to be extremely expensive. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. I know, I'm pretty sure fast track trading, I think they were about $400 at one point. Obviously, then they have discounts. But, I mean, there are still going to be a lot of people taking them who may still be struggling and blowing them, but might just have a little bit more money to spend. So some people just want to go down that route. I'm not sure I trust myself to pay that much money. I still have little issues from time to time. So I do think it's important sometimes to take that long route. 1, 2, 3. There's a triple test there. My only concern here is we're coming away from this top of this channel, and that is making me a bit nervous. 1, 2, 3. It's a triple test, but something about it I don't like. $100. I mean, obviously pass the evaluation, make money. Yeah, absolutely. So as I say, it's about $118 now, isn't it? So you can get 3 and some change. Okay, I wouldn't have taken that triple test because that channel, it's touching perfectly every time. It's now starting to feather off. It's starting to lose a bit of traction. So I expect a bit of a pullback here. As tempting as it is to take a triple test, I think I'm going to have to sit out of this one. It's this bit that's making me nervous now. I don't know it's going to form anyway, is it? Having said that, 2 attempts to go lower, I don't think it's going to form anyway. Oh, that's so tempting. My concern is it's losing a bit of traction here, so we could have a leg and a leg. It is working, but I just couldn't bring myself to take that. $200 to be fair. That would be better money. They've obviously got to charge a little bit more, I think, haven't they? So tick above there. Sorry about that. Let's say there. That's about a tick, isn't it? Yeah. So I go for 3 points. So it would have to push to 3.25 points, which is there. I think it'd probably work, but there's something here that's just ringing alarm bells, and it's the fact that we're not quite getting there. It's curving off there, which tells me we may have a steeper pullback. And we know, if you like that channel, that it can get back to here. But it is a triple test. So maybe it might work, but this is just telling me to be careful. I mean, if you're scalping a point or something there, or even maybe 2, that might be something, but I'm getting out up here with 3 points, and that just makes me nervous. Does look like it's working. I just don't like the way it's coming away from the top of this channel. So we could get a leg and a leg. This is what I was afraid of. Let's see if it holds. Is this going to hold? Trouble is, we've got a leg down there. We could get another one, which would get us right down to the bottom of this range. Thomas Wade just changed channel similar to yours. Yeah, he has, isn't he? It does fit. It does fit. Yeah, see, it may work. I mean, it's definitely bullish, but, you know, what I notice is we're fitting really nice. Every time we're getting a strong push-up, every time, right to the top. But now, these 3 times we've had a pullback, it hasn't quite got there, and it hasn't got there again and there. So it's taking that angle now. It's coming away from the top, which tells me it's losing that little bit of momentum. So when it loses momentum, a lot of the times you get a break of the channel. Now, we may not get a break here, but we may get a steeper correction, a leg and a leg, which should get us down to the bottom. And we haven't been down to the bottom since here. So my gut feeling here is I got to be a bit careful. I don't have to think about it anymore. I just get a feeling I either like it or I don't. Now, obviously, you know, if it's a bullish day, sometimes, you know, with all the saying, the trend's your friend, sometimes it just helps you out by going up. But, you know, we've pushed up here and we're only getting so far, which tells me that momentum might be slowing down. We may due for a decent pullback, or a decent correction, or a break. So for me, I'm just sitting tight here. If I was scalping a point, I'd probably go for it. But I go for 3 points, which means my profit target is up here, and I don't like the way it's going sideways now. It may work. I think you should adjust your strategy when the ATR is below 3. To be honest with you, mate, good setups go for plenty anyway. I know what you're saying. But good setups just move, and that's kind of what I wait for, a really good setup where loads of traders jump in and then you get that big move. Now, I like that one. We'd had multiple touches there. Now, although the ATR is low now, it's probably a bit higher, but I mean, look at that thing go. So usually in a trending day, if we're right down, now don't get me wrong, if I'm trading a range like this and it's maybe 4 or 5 points from top to bottom, I will adjust it. I will bring it down. But I tend to wait for those ones I know I'm going to get 3 points plus out of. Do you know what I mean? And I only really need a couple a week if I can get it. And that would sort of, you know, give me a decent size pot. It is working by the looks of things. Yeah, that's fine. I got no problem with missing a trade, but that just makes me nervous coming away from the top. But it did work. It was a triple test, granted, but it was one I just wanted to miss. I mean, if I'd have taken that for 3 points, I think it would have worked. So it went up, say 3.5 points. Let's get it accurate. So let's say about there. So, I mean, it would have worked for 3 points, you know, at the top of the range. But it wasn't so much the fact, my concern about it getting high enough. My concern was the fact of it doing this after that little bit of move away, which is what kind of put me off that. But you know, as I say, it's a really bullish day. So perhaps, you know, every time it gets back there, it's just going to work. In fact, any type of bullish bar that's low, that worked. Everything is working. That one worked. Any bullish bar close to that line is just working. But you don't know until you get there. And we keep smashing these all-time highs, so you don't know where we may have a decent correction. And the fact that we're coming away a little bit, in fact, this may be the one. Let's see. Let's see how far this gets. We have had a leg and a leg, so that's the only bit that's concerning me. Whenever we get that, often we get a break. Now, it might be high enough. It's still got quite close. But whenever we lose that momentum like that, it often leads to a break. Every time we've come up here, we've hit that top perfectly again and again, multiple times. And here, the last 3 times, we're just struggling a bit. So that's what's made me a bit nervous there. It is strong, isn't it? It is strong. I mean, don't get me wrong. If we'd have got to the top, I'd have taken that. Or if that was down here, I'd have 100% taken it. It's just a little off this bottom, and we're losing a little bit of momentum here. So we'll see. Someone else has taken a trade here. It's an unusual place to take a trade, though. They've gone long there. That's unusual. Let's have a look at this. That higher low they've taken there. Yeah. Yeah, that's not something I would take personally. What the hell happened there? Just lost everything. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Everything disappeared. It's unusual. Where's my everything just disappeared for a second. That one. That one. Okay, it's all back. Okay, so same again. It is a failure, and it is trapping some shorts maybe, but I just can't take that. We're right at the top again. He's drawn this, has he? Yeah, good. Excuse me a sec. Suddenly hitting all-time highs again. Let's see where this goes, if anywhere. You see, though, it is struggling, isn't it? It's going off on a different angle. It kind of looks like it's going off, doesn't it? You could draw the short term to follow price more closely and try to predict when stronger. Yeah. Usually corrections come when we lose traction at the top, or certainly maybe a break in this case. Yeah, I'm certainly not thinking about selling, absolutely not. But I'm not thinking about going along just at the moment because this thing is starting to lose momentum. So I'd like to see a break here or a correction. Crazy. I know, yeah, you're right, Chad. I mentioned that earlier. We're not far at all, are we? 10 points now. 9.5 points. It'd be interesting to see what happens when they get there. Is this thing going to absolutely tank? But if you're in this, I think you're going to be looking at taking profits up here or very close to it. So there is a failure there, and you may trap some shorts there. But for me, look what's happening. Look at this line. It's losing a bit of momentum, which tells me it's more likely to have a break or at best go sideways. So thinking about going along here. Now, sometimes it just doesn't make a damn bit of difference anyway. It works. But we're just coming away from the top here, so that's making me nervous. A year ago, we were at fourth. That's unbelievable, isn't it? So that's gone up, what, 30%? Unbelievable, that is. I know the S&P 500 is just done really well, isn't it? I mean, I believe over the last decade, it's averaged 12% a year, something like that. So as a general investment for anything like a pension or something. But the thing is, you're invested in the best of the best, really, aren't you? And yeah, we can have things like credit crunches and recessions and all that sort of thing, but it doesn't matter what you invest in is going to be affected by that. But invest in the top 500 companies, the best of the best. And not only that, if anything happens to one, it doesn't make a difference. So I think as far as maybe a pension goes, I think there's a lot worse to invest in. Can you see what's happening here now? It's still struggling to get above that line. So whether we're working at a slightly less, less of a dramatic angle, but the bottom isn't looking like that. So for me, this is just struggling a bit. So I'd expect a break or a break correction, a little bit of congestion or something, a little bit of sideways range or whatever you want to call it. But every time now we've come away from the top, at the top, right the way along there. We're coming away now. Every time we're getting further and further away from here. So that's why I'm kind of avoiding longs here at the moment. It's crazy that, isn't it? 2 years, 39. So it's nearly doubled. It's not far off doubled. Wow. That's amazing, that, isn't it? Mind you, we have heard Max saying they won't let this thing drop. But now, now Trump's in the White House, or at least got one foot in the door. Are things going to change? I don't know. But if we hit that 6,000 mark, I wouldn't be sure if there's a lot of profits been taken there. And obviously, as we know, people go for round numbers, but we're at the 59.90 here as well. So we're getting close to that. So I don't know, take profits here, get back in here for that last push. But for me, this is clearly coming away from the top. Flatter channel started around the market open. Looks good. Channel makes me wonder if the market is preparing for a shock interest rate to make a decision. Never know, do you? You never know. Big funds in Norway took up positions since expected Trump to win. Sold millions of dollars. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Okay, we're back at the top now. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, we're struggling again. Look, every time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we're struggling to get over here. Surely this is due for a pullback. Surely. Liquidity there, liquidity there. I'd expect down to the bottom at least, even if it starts to go sideways. Trouble is, you never quite know. I've learned not to assume anything. I don't know, I'm looking left. There's nothing back here, is there? We're into new territory. Yeah, it looks like it's going to either shoot up or shoot down, doesn't it? It's trying to get up. Now, there's probably bound to be someone short in that, isn't there? But I wouldn't be short on it. It broke higher than that, which broke higher than that, which broke higher than that. But it kind of looks like it may just feel its way above there, but still, it's still closing there. So, but sometimes it'll do that and then just pop. But my gut feeling is I'm staying. I mean, you wouldn't want to take a high low there anyway. You're asking for trouble. You just never know. Sometimes you get that focused on it doing a certain thing and it does the complete opposite, but you can't deny that. I drew that line back here. Now we've had 3 more attempts, so surely we're due for a pullback. Surely liquidity here for definite liquidity here. Whether it'll get below there or not, I don't know, but it's just keeping me out of longs here at the moment. I did have a look at, was it yesterday mentioned, we're talking about order flow. I did have a look. I can't remember it was now. Talking about the order flow. I think he's called the order flow guy, isn't he? I did have a look at it last night. He's called Mr. Order Flow. Scottish guy he is. He's been trading for 10 years. I must mention that to Sam as well, of his fellow countrymen. Yeah, that's the thing, Lucas. As much as it looks like it's struggling, sometimes it'll just continue on up. I mean, if it's strong enough. But I think if I was holding a trade here and I saw this, I think I'd be thinking about taking profits here and then maybe getting back a little bit further down here, because when something is clearly struggling like that, at some point you're gonna, you know what I mean? You're gonna pull the plug, aren't you, and go, that's enough. Let's take some profits here, which may cause that little bit of a drop. I would say always in longs. Our Brooks would say always in long. Still, I think. Yeah, I mean, we do tend to forget as well sometimes the market's always going up. Obviously, there are times where we're having pullbacks, but generally it goes up a lot more than it does anything else. So, higher low there, or whatever you want to call it, bullish bar, higher low, it's triggered and starting to come back. So, I've not really watched much of Al Brooks, but I think I should. I've watched little bits. I know, I'm aware who he is and what he does. I'm aware he's the guru when it comes to price action. That's how I believe where Mac's strategy emanated from. And also say don't look for the top or bottom until we're told otherwise. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Okay, that's the first time that's closed above that line. They're all Albrook's, yeah. He's kind of like your favourite, well, I don't know about your favourite uncle, but he's kind of got those big glasses, and he... I think a lot of people say who've read his book said it's quite hard going. I think he's sort of a very clever guy, isn't he? I think his IQ's probably into triple digits, I think, isn't he? But a lot of people say it's quite hard to follow. I think it's so. I mean, some people just talk in riddles almost, don't they? I can adjust that a touch. It's still struggling, isn't it? But we'll see. It's got to drop, surely. I said that a minute ago when this started coming down, but it's got to, surely. We've got to have a pullback. It can't fail that many times and then not have at least a decent pullback and take out some of this, surely. It's 126. Sleep induced. See, I find it hard to read books, I do, because my mind's that focused. I find it hard to come down. But I usually listen to audiobooks, and I usually try and listen to them at night, but as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm starting to doze off. But I've been trying to listen to Best Loser Wins for months now, but every time I sort of put my earbuds in and listen, I start nodding like a dog. As soon as I finish trading, see, it's UK time around about 5:30, so I'm downstairs cooking dinner for everyone. Being an ex-chef, you kind of get lumbered with that job. And then I'll sit down and have a whiskey. I like to find out everybody else is done. I'll look at Mac's chart. Usually I look at Mac's chart early hours of the morning. I always get up throughout the night for a pee, and I usually grab my phone and watch his chart. I always find out what the other streamers are doing, and I always look at Marco's chart and find out if anybody's posted charts on the Facebook group. I like to find out what everybody's... Be interested to see what they've seen, what I've seen. Have I missed anything? And what have I learned? I try and just go over the day in my head as well, process anything. But I do spend less time now. I do feel like I can get away from trading, because when you start, it feels like the only thing that's in your mind 24/7, and sometimes it can wear you out a bit. It's all you think about every time, the TV's on, you're looking at something on YouTube. There's constantly a book in your hand, or you're watching something to do with trading. It's very hard to get away from it, whether it's just that kind of job because it has such an emotional connection, whether that's just the way I see things. But it does seem to take over your life to a degree. You've got to try and put it down, and remember you've got a wife and possibly kids. It does kind of take over a bit. So are we finally pushing above this now? I felt for sure that was going to at least have a decent pullback, but it just doesn't want to finish, does it? So is that sort of magical 6,000 there? Never been in. Well, we've never been anywhere before. All this is new, isn't it? Let's make that a nice pretty colour. Let's thicken up a bit. Let's give it a finish line. Oh, someone else is in a long gear. Above that bar there. Oh, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. See, maybe that doesn't make a difference, but it's clearly pulling back from that area, isn't it? Every time we get there, we pull back, we pull back, we pull back. So going long here for me just wouldn't make sense. But it depends how you see the price, depends how you see the market. But going long here, when every time we're getting that pullback, makes me nervous. Having said that, we got a bullish bar here, didn't get stopped out. Bullish bar there, didn't get stopped out. One there, one there. So it is holding, but the more it holds, the more I worry that it's going to have a quick snap back. But sometimes it doesn't. I think you've got to be aware of it. This thing just seems to wanting to keep going. ATR's stayed consistent. It's been 2.03 for a while now. So we're getting very close to this area here, so I'm going to have to break out the single malt when we hit that. Trouble is, if for some unknown, strange, weird reason that is some kind of a channel, there's an overshoot there, so I might be just overthinking things there. So let's forget I said anything. See, if you take this up individually, we got an individual channel there with an overshoot, so yeah, you might be right, mate. We're only about 5 points away. It may just do that. I mean, you're not going to be selling here, are you? You may have a go at selling here. So if it does hit that, my guess is there's going to be a lot of people taking profits and maybe a few people deciding to short it, because if it does hit that based on its current trajectory, it'll have an overshoot from the top of this channel. If it continues sideways, then obviously maybe not. But if it does have a strong push, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a fair size pullback, possibly even. Usually we'll try and retest it, won't we? So action could give this bullish boost, and certainly could, certainly has done. Long term, I'm not surprised if we get a very. We have to, really. We can't keep going up forever. The steeper this thing goes up, quicker it comes down. But I've learnt to never assume anything in this business. You just never know what's going to happen. But, you know, we've got to have pullbacks, haven't we? We've had such a bullish few days. I mean, from was it the day before? From yesterday morning. Was it yesterday morning? Yeah. From why? From yesterday morning, we're up 180 points. Catching resistance from the channel at 1400. And we are literally less than 4 points. 4 points away, say. Sean, how you doing, my friend? You can draw a small channel from around 15, so around about here. You know, about, I kind of looked at something from there. I think that's what you mean, isn't it? Nothing else would fit, would it? So, yeah, maybe something like that. If you pay attention to around about 15,999,975, you can see the ask orders. Let's see how much sellers are waiting there, maybe. Up around here. Yeah, I don't doubt it, mate. I don't doubt it. There's going to be people selling that and people taking profits, isn't there? Yeah, I don't doubt that. Further back, you're on about here. You're on about here or something. Which is 1515. Let's have a look. Yeah, possibly. The only thing that concerns me there is it's touching, and fit nice there, but that would be an overshoot to me. So it doesn't get me going, put it that way. And if it does, more of an overshoot. I know what you're saying. I kind of was looking at something like that, but when it pushed up, it's hard to say, really, isn't it? But in fact, I'll tell you what, let's have a quick look at Bookmap. Should be able to see some of these orders anyway. Bookmap. Let's have a look. Yes. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's Bookmap. You can see these orders up there, can't you? We're going to have a bit of a pullback. Yeah, there's 500. Well, there's 456 orders there, 506 orders there. All around here. So I'll be thinking about taking profits just before the top. So yeah, so there's a chunk of orders around there, isn't there? So it's probably going to burst through that. But then, see, how do you know the difference between sellers and taking profits? That's what I don't quite understand with this. Leg and a leg here. Okay, this is where you got to be careful. Orders are from 7 onwards, aren't they? So kind of in this area here. There's lots of orders there. Doesn't give you the full picture, no. See, look at this. It's so tempting to take something like that, but second entry long. The trouble is you've not got much space at the top. There's certainly not 3 points at the top. That bar ain't finished yet. It is small, granted, but it's too far from the EMA for me. Now, this thing is so bullish, but that I can't bring myself to take because there's 4 bars stacked side by side, so we could have a leg. It kind of is a leg and a leg, really. Very small, but it's this I don't like. So I'm sitting tight. If we get down to here, or the EMA, it might be a different story, but I'm just staying out of this at the moment. It's not a big risk, but there's no way in enough points there for me, really. If it doesn't get any higher there, you're not even going to get a point there. It's going to have to push through. So it's just a no-go for me, unfortunately. I don't like this. It's risky. A couple of bars down, a little bit of sideways. We could have another couple of bars down to this EMA. Yeah, see, funny you mentioned that, Sean. I've got this on my other chart, so that would be an overshoot. So, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Let's see if this bar triggers. I wouldn't take it. It's too far from the EMA. But I wouldn't be surprised if that does that and gives us a failure and this thing comes short. But you just never know. Such a strong day. Paying too much attention to fast track trading Discord. They are shutting each channel one by one. Looks like fast track trading is shutting down. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest, but I've just heard, I don't know, I've just heard lots of people not getting paid. Now, I know we had that issue with Apex, but Apex had been around for quite a while. And we kind of knew the reasons behind that. But it's that CEO just doesn't sit right with me. He just, some of the language he uses, he just doesn't come over like a professional CEO should, really. Arguing with people, banning people, it just comes over a bit petty. I heard, now bearing in mind it's only a rumour, it's not been confirmed or anything, but I heard something that he may have been in trouble with some issue with fraud in the recent past. How true that is, I don't know, but I've heard a couple of people mention that, so it would concern me. Okay, so if you took that second edge long trigger, just stopped you out. Excuse me, so that's good. Just got risk written all over there. It's clearly sideways. There's just no room to the top. I don't think it's... yeah. This doesn't sound like a CEO either. But the thing is with Elon Musk, he's tried and tested. He's been around for donkey's years, and we know he's probably the second richest bloke in the country. But I know what you're saying, yeah. I think for me, Elon Musk's just a bit odd. In fact, he's having a place in the White House by the sounds of things, isn't he? Elon Musk, I think, is just a little bit eccentric. Yeah, but apparently there's a job there's going to be a job for him somewhere, isn't there? Yeah, exactly. I think if people have been done recently for fraud, you've got to be a bit careful there, haven't you? Just some of the things I've heard him say, and that I've heard people say. Now, it is just chit chat. I understand that, but when you hear it from quite a few people, your ears prick up, and you've got to pay attention, haven't you? So you could consider that triple test. I'm not taking it. It's stuck in there at the moment. We are, well, look, there you go. It's pushing up. But I don't like this, really. Yeah, I think that's risky going long. You've got no space. Doesn't mean it won't work, but there's no space. I don't think there's a point for you, Jan, is there? Look, just to the tops, really. It's gone up 1.25, so you'd have got a point out of that currently, depending on where you got in. But is this thing going to have a quick pullback? Getting very close to that top. I want to go and have a drink, but I don't want to go away. I don't want to leave the chart at the moment. It's still working along that midline. See, I still think a trade like that is likely to get stopped out, but nearly every bullish bar here, it's just worked. That one has. Any one of these have. It's going up. We've had no pullbacks at all from here. Higher, higher, higher. That one slightly, but then higher, 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 higher. It is a triple test you could consider. It's not the best looking one, but I just don't like that sideways stuff. It did come down, but so far it hasn't broke below it, but I still wouldn't want to be in that trade. it does look risky anyway, so maybe that may take out that stop. Looks like it might. Leg and a leg, though. Yeah, okay, so that stop's gone. Let's put that there. Leg and a leg. Okay, so we finally had a pullback. That took out any liquidity there. I can't see it getting this low. Let's see where things go here. Leg and a leg. It's just not enough room to the tops for me. Wow, look at that. As soon as that bar closed, it dropped. Break out to the low side. I don't like the way that pushed up and then dropped instantly. Is there people getting close to this and taking profits there? It's struggling to get up, isn't it? So are you thinking, oh, let's just get out here? It'll have to be a second entry long. It's only a first entry, that. Get rid of that anyway. All-time highs up here now. So channel break, new low, high low. That may interest me as long as I've got enough room to the top. But there was sell orders around about the 75 area, I think. Let's have another quick look at that bookmap. Yeah. Is this thing going to have a dump now? There is orders around about the 85, 86. Where's this thing going? So, channel break, new low. Now, can I adjust this? I can a little bit. Tiny adjustment here doesn't mean nothing down here, so that's still okay. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. It's still fitting perfectly, in my opinion. But it's going to have to be a higher low for me or a failure. There's no way. I'm just assuming this is going up. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see a nice correction, really, before I consider going long here. I thought I'd give it the benefit of the doubt there, just give it that slight movement there. Leg and a leg. Trouble is, with such a big move like that up, when we have a break, it's not just going to do that and then up we go. I'd like to see some... Trouble is, I mean, you could adjust that. Let's see how it finishes. I could still adjust it a fraction and it would still work. But just for now, okay, well, I mean, it's still fitting. Touch, close enough. Oh, I mean, it's such a bullish market. It is a leg and a leg. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait for the higher low, I think, because there are some charts I've seen that are showing it as a break. It could work either way, that. It fits okay. Trouble is, an adjuster of a millimetre or two here can be hard anything down here. So I'm going to sit tight here and see if we can get a higher low above that EMA. Because if it's at a break, I'll be amazed if it doesn't stop that out. It is a hidden second entry long, and maybe it'll work, but it's not for me just at the moment. I'm looking at Thomas Wade's, and he's got this as a break about here. So if he thinks it's a break, although I like to do my own thing, I know he's an experienced trader, so I'm going to avoid this first trade here. I know this is a strong market, but we're getting very close to this area up here, so there's bound to be traders taking profits and then maybe getting back in further here. On Bookmap, it was showing orders around here, which would coincide with something like that. So I'm just going to sit tight here. Grant, it is a hidden second entry long. It may work, but for me, this is just a few alarm bells here, because some have got it as a break. Thomas Wade's got it as a break. He's got it as a break. Same again. So although I can micro adjust it and make it fit, I do that understanding that I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt and it needs to show me something. Range highs could be resistance of the range highs. When you say range highs, you're on about a larger range, possibly. Yeah, I mean, excuse me a sec. The more I watch these charts, the bigger this channel is up, the bigger the correction or pullback. And I heard it described the other day as the scenic route. And so many times we'll have two legs down, it'll go sideways, it may even drop out the bottom, push up strong, and then slowly start to work up. The range at 1510. Oh, you know about this one? I wouldn't have thought so. Yeah, there is a bit of a range there, but that is more sideways on the way up. So I wouldn't have thought so. It is a little bit rangy, but it's more up to the top, sideways to the EMA, and then up. So I wouldn't have thought so. The trouble is you can still adjust this so it doesn't look like a break. If I take that down to there, it touches there, it touches there, and it touches there, and it's absolutely perfect on the top. So it could fit there. But what I would rather do is, if this thing's going to come down, there's going to be shorts getting in on the failure. So what I'd rather do is give the shorts chance to trigger, and then if it triggers them and starts to push up, then I may get into a long here. But we've got a channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. So I'm giving this the benefit of the doubt at the moment. We do seem to be finding some support there. So maybe that bit of support is the bottom of the bigger channel, because it does fit and it also looks fine at the top. So you've got to be careful. It could do either or. You took the second entry long, the triple test as well. Yeah. It's a tough one here. Some people have got this as a break. If it is a break, that may get stopped out. Because if this is a break, I'll be amazed if it just turns and pushes straight up. I'd like to see way bigger correction after a break. So I'm just going to sit tight. Also, this is a channel down. One attempt to go higher, maybe a second attempt. So this thing could come down. It could go sideways. But I'm just sitting tight here. But I have given it a little bit of a nudge, the bottom of that line, and so far it fits, and the top looks even nicer. So I'm giving that the benefit of the doubt. In fact, excuse me, just for 1 minute, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay. Yeah, this is crunch time for me, this. See, looking on this other chart, just a small turn, we've had like a triple test there and a push down, a couple of attempts, so we could get another leg down here. I really wouldn't be surprised if we did. There's going to be some stops below there for sure, so channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Failure, but I'm not assuming. Profit target 8 ticks at a different bar there. Let's have a look what's going on here. Got you. Okay, I was just trying to think what you were saying there. Got you. So chart with a break, 2 pushes to a new low, bullish bar. I'm sitting tight here because of this possible break. It could do a number of things, this. On this chart up here, it's a failure which has triggered. So if it comes down below there, we'll have much more of a clearer break. But at the moment, I'm just sitting tight here. I wouldn't want to be in that trade, though, and I wouldn't want to be in a short there because not only am I seeing that, it's also a little bit rangy as well. So, I mean, it is bullish, so that may hold. So I'm just sitting out of this. It could go either way. Yeah. So this is interesting. So that failure there that triggered, it pulled back, but it didn't break above it, and it came down again. Still too dangerous to take a trade here. We'll soon see. If this does just push up, in my opinion, it's not a break. If it comes down or goes sideways, it needs to come down or out the channel to be a break, because it fits too nice along there. And if I look this way, we got a perfect touch there. It's fitting fine there. Now I have adjusted it, and I might not be right, but in my opinion at the moment, the way it's still slowly working, if this is a break, it'll do more than just this and then push up. Okay, so it has broken above there. Let's see if it's got any legs. If this is a break, there's possibly a second entry short there to come down. Yeah, it's tough on that. Got to reload my news indicator until now. I see there's FMC. Yeah, it's not till later. You'll be done and dusted by then, Jan. I'm surprised you're still here now, mate. You're usually done with a couple of trades early. That's 7 o'clock UK time. 4 or 5. I've still got over 2.5 hours yet, so you're all right. Okay. Possible second entry short here. 1, 2, 3. Now, if I knew for sure that was a break, that may interest me. Thomas Wade said he's considering a failed second entry short. So if that bearish bar triggers, he's on about going long there. That would only be an option if we haven't had a break of the channel. You wouldn't want to go long there if that's the break and it goes sideways. So if it does push up above there and continues up, surely it hasn't had a break. So I know Thomas has got it as a break. See, if it's a break like that, going long just after that break with such a big push, for me, is something that the market doesn't really do. So if it does push up, my guess is we haven't had a break. Fast track train shutting down. Scott doing a runner with the money. Should have been paid out to traders. Yeah. That guy just had risk written all over him, I think. Yeah, if anybody has lost money, I feel bad for you. Okay, so triggered it, pushed up, stopped it out, that bearish bar. Now we got another bearish bar. Let's see what happens here. I just don't like the way this is moving at the moment. So if you took that second entry short, trigger just stopped you out. There is a failure there, but the bar's not fantastic. This is starting to make me think this definitely hasn't had a break, but I'm only thinking it. I don't assume. Once it goes so far, I can see it pushing up then. Trouble is, if it is a break, it may go a bit more sideways, or we may have that other leg down. I do wonder if I overanalyze sometimes, but Mac did tell me in an email once, don't look for a reason to take a trade, look for a reason not to. So I kind of had that in my head. So if this is a break, surely we're going to have another leg down. And this, to me, would be, surely if you have another leg down, we'll be trapping some longs and then a push down. So my gut feeling is that's what could happen. Once it goes so far, I think it will push up. It's tried to come down, but it still seems too strong at the moment. So there's a failure there. Is that triggered yet? No, it hasn't. Thomas Wade's in a long here. A couple of people are. If we'd had a break here, I wouldn't be thinking about going long. If this is in the channel, then it may work. So my gut is this is still in the channel. This thing could come tearing down, you never know, do you? But yeah, I'm not a massive fan of this at the moment. We're going a bit sideways there. This breakout could fail. If it is a break, I'd expect more than just a little break like that and a push up. For me, we would have to have a leg and a leg. And there's your first leg. This would be a second leg. If we've had a break of the channel, we may not have had a break. I don't think we have. But I know Thomas Wade has got it as a break. And if it is a break of the channel, I'll be surprised if that just has a small break and pushes straight up. For me, a break would at least have to have a correction. And if this thing does come correction, it's going to take out longs here, and longs there. I'm not saying it will. It's just why I'm staying out of this at the moment. Thomas Ways didn't trigger. I hope it does for him. I hope anybody else is in there, but that just would make me a bit nervous. It's struggling, and that's what concerns me. I know there's quite a few people in this trade and their profits are just above there. I hope this works. My concern is this comes down for a second leg. There'll be liquidity there. You can bet your bottom dollar and there. So this thing could tank. I hope it doesn't. I don't like to see traders losing money. But when it struggles like this, you just never quite know what it's going to do. And taking that trade for me is a bit risky. Part of me wants it to lose because it just kind of solidifies that I'm thinking the right things, but I don't want anybody to lose their money. So you explain the max profit rule with Apex has max profit. Okay, the daily profit. You can make as much money as you want in a day, mate. There's nothing says you can't do that. The only issue is if you take money from an account, let's say, for instance, you have 3,000 there, your biggest day can't be more than a third of that. So apart from that, you can make whatever you want, really. So this might be a better option. I'm still concerned, though, at the moment. Yeah, I'm still concerned here. I'm glad that's triggered and it's pushing up. But just when it starts to go sideways like that and almost take you out, it just concerns me. Anytime, mate, yeah. Yeah, you can make whatever you want in a day, but all you got to be aware of, if you make £2,000 in a day or $2,000 in a day, when you come to make a payment, you have to make sure that $2,000 isn't more than 30% of your total pot. It does, yeah, but I'm still concerned here because it's struggling to get up and then we have a pullback. If this is a break of a channel, I'd expect a leg and a leg. But I hope it works. I thought when that was coming back, that was game over. I think most people's profits are there from that one. So if you took it a tick above there, your profits, well, I'm assuming people are taking a point there. Maybe a bit more. Channel down. Yeah. Hope it works, but I'm concerned there's a little double top there. There's definitely a battle going on here. There's no argument about that. Not only that, there may be a range there. I hope it goes above that. I like to know that I've made the right decision, but I don't want anybody to lose any money. That one there. Yeah, I wouldn't, purely because I wouldn't have taken that one. There's not a lot of difference there. Because if it is a break, doesn't often just do that, make a new high after a break. So I'm guessing it's still in this channel, but there are so many people showing it as a break. That's what's making me nervous. Okay, so let's have a look. So if you'd have taken that one a tick above, you'd have had 6 ticks. You need to get above there for 2 points, don't you? But it's gone up 2 points. So 1.75 you'd have got there, depending on where you got in. That one there, let's say you've got a point so far. Precious. Double bar failure. That one there. It just makes me nervous when it's working so slow there. I thought that was it when that came back. Yeah, from here, yeah. Breakout pullback from here, yeah. Yeah. I just noticed some sideways. It's the thing is, Thomas Wade's got this as a break, and after such a big channel, it rarely has a break like that and pushes straight up, make a new high. It really, rarely does. And the bigger that channel, the more it messes around before it does it. That's why I'm nervous about sort of getting in. And not only that, it is clearly struggling. So you could see up there was profit taking for this thing came down. So if it continues up, for me, it's more likely to be part of the channel. But so many people have got it. I was a little worried, but price action is price action. That was a break of this morning's channel. That's what I'm sort of concerned about. You wanted it to go up so bad after the break, yeah. Yes, if it is a break, I wouldn't be thinking about going long. I'd be looking for the correction. It rarely has a small break and then pushes straight up. I'd expect a correction after this. God, it's getting dark here in the UK quick. It's pitch black outside. 4:35, it's getting darker and darker. What was the risk on that high or low? That one there. So tick above, tick below, 3 points. That's not too bad. I don't mind risking 3 points. It's when it starts to get closer to 4 and above. But that ATR is under 2 at the moment, so that's not too bad. Leg and a leg. This. Well, I'm not going to say anything. I've said enough. I've waffled on enough. See, when we were struggling to get above there, people took profits, which created that quick drop. So we're struggling here a bit again. That's what makes me nervous. I might be just overthinking things, but we all have a certain process, don't we? And obviously, as you learn and develop, that process sort of changes. So maybe I do overanalyze things. But I think there's a reason to be cautious, especially if it is like a lot of people have said. Not sure if you mentioned that with fast track trading. I've just pulled a plug. Yeah, someone else just mentioned it earlier. I hope none of you guys have been stuck there. stuck with anything. I don't think many of you trade fast track, do you? I'm not sure whether have you done some with fast track, Tony. I'm not sure, but there's nothing worse than that. I hope it is frustrating if you're expecting money, especially this side of Christmas, and that happens to you. That's an absolute ball ache. I hope none of you guys have been caught out in that. Fast track, so out of touch, a scam. Yeah, Fast Track was a new company, relatively new. I think they've been out months, where you could go straight onto a funded account. Apex, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think you're on the right track there. I think they're okay. I'd say Apex, My Funded Futures, and Take Profit Traders seem to be about the ones I hear the best about. I know people have a love-hate relationship with Apex, but I think a lot of that was just the sheer speed that they grew. See, the thing is, in later on in hindsight, if price ends up here, Mac will mark that, he'll mark that, he may mark that. But in hindsight, when we're so close to the tops and it's clearly struggled here, it's not a trade really that I would think about trading. Not only that, it's too far from that EMA. But that's the thing, when you've seen the market go there, it's very easy to mark these because you know it worked. But when you sat here like we are now, looking at price, thinking, is it going to push up above this? Is it going to hit this level? Or is it going to struggle and tank? It's so hard to get into these trades, especially when you get in there and it starts to go sideways. Naturally, you're concerned. There's nothing worse than when it starts to go slow. Sometimes the slower this market goes, the quicker it comes down. You lost money. I hope you didn't use a lot, John. That's frustrating. Yeah, that CEO. I've heard a few things about fraud and stuff like that in the past. I hope you didn't get stung for much. Oh, you're kidding. I hope you get some sort of claim on it. I think regulations are coming out soon which are going to protect people. Because if you've built money in there, as far as I'm concerned, it's as good as your money. I'll survive. Yeah. I wonder how many people have lost thousands. It is frustrating, isn't it? Thankfully, it doesn't happen often. Happen often, sorry. So, if you took that one a tick above, you're not quite out for 2 points, depending on where you got in. If you want a tick above there, you're out for a point, but no more at the moment. Depending on where you got in, you may have got in on a limit order. You may have got in when this thing triggered and started to bounce, but lesson learned, yeah. I think I tend to wait for a company that's been around for a while first. You never quite know what you get yourself in for. At least if companies have got a bit of a track record, it kind of puts your mind at ease a little bit, doesn't it? I do feel safe with Apex more now than I ever had, because they kind of hit rock bottom to a degree, didn't they? But they've come back really well, and I think the reason that's happened is because they've been around for a while. A few traders that I've said they're moving away have said they're moving away temporarily until Apex get back on track. That was a few months ago, 3 or 4 or 5 months ago, when they were having some problems. But they still, admitted that, they were okay with Apex. They just wanted them to sort all these little few problems they had. I'm setting 2 points to 1 point, are you? the slower this thing goes up, the quicker I'm concerned it comes down. But I'm hoping most of you guys are out your trades by now when it starts to go sideways. Yeah, it did the same there, and obviously people decided now's the time to get out, and obviously we had that bit of a pullback. So as we're struggling, sometimes it doesn't make sense to me. Why are people still buying here? Maybe because it's off the EMA, it's getting close to the top. You can see people taking profit, but it just goes to show how little I still know about trading when price does what I don't expect it to do. But there's so many different ways to trade and time frames. Just because I'm looking at this chart doesn't mean everyone is. The overall could mean completely bullish. I mean, well, look, we can see how bullish it is, can't we? But because we go for such a small movement, these little bars make a difference. Whereas if someone's trading the hourly or the daily or whatever, it's irrelevant really to a degree. I'm surprised this thing hasn't had at least a pullback below here to pick off some liquidity. But it's, every one of these bars so far are holding. But we are finding a little bit of support here, which we did there, and eventually this thing took a bit of a dump. Not huge, but we kind of got up to here, and then it sort of came back to. So it's not huge, but enough to to get a decent sized pullback. See, if I was a buyer here wanting to push this up, I'd be thinking about taking the longs down here, really. Mind you, if you got in back here, you could have got in way back here, and you may be adding to it. In that case, maybe it wouldn't seem so bad. But I am surprised we haven't had a quick dump. Seven bars stacked here. I think it's time to at least draw this now, isn't it? Because if we have a breakout and it bounces here, that might not be a bad option to go long. At the moment, though, because I haven't got this, so I'm aware that there may be a break. I'm just going to have to sit tight here, I think. If we get a nice drop out the bottom, I may. We'll see. I'd like to see it take that out, though. And if it does, maybe that. I don't know. Okay, it's below here. Let's see how far this goes. Channel down. There's actually kind of two legs, isn't there? But it's nothing worse than when it goes slow. If we get above this, it may start to move, but we're hitting very close to this level now. We're at this pullback. Granted, it was at the top of this channel, but let's see what's going on. This thing is slowly working higher still. Yes, it's driven by the main index, SP500, and buyers and sellers from stocks do not regard. Yes, that's the reason why there are buyers just below the top of the SES. So, maybe we ain't going to get those legs. We're not far from the top. Yeah, for me, the way that's pushing up from here, it's part of a channel. It worked for 86 on a limit order, but wouldn't regret exit early on the congestion. Yeah, the trouble is you could turn away and come back in 15 minutes and the price could be well above this. You never quite know. That's the thing. We have to make decisions based on what we're seeing, but you never quite know what's going to happen in 10 minutes or 30 minutes. And sometimes when you see these charts moving up, you're thinking, why the hell could they make anything? But because in real time, you don't know exactly where it's going to go. So it's why trading looks easy, because you're thinking, hold on a minute, how can you not make money out of that? But it's just, it's not always a way, is it? Because you never know what's going to happen from the next push to the next. This is a big, strong trend. But back here, it wasn't. When it got a big further, you're thinking, okay, maybe we have two legs, maybe we come down. And when it got a bit further, once it gets so far up, you're thinking, okay, maybe it is quite a strong trend. But then when you decide you want to get into it, you get no setup. So it's just, Ben, how you doing, Ben? Finally, I fell second entry short, took 20 minutes. Good on you, mate. Balls of steel. Sure, did you take that one? That one probably, didn't you? Yeah, sometimes... from what I've learned, how I trade and how I see price, I think in most cases you're better off just holding when you take a trade. If I think back, I think way more trades that I got out of for either less profit or break even went on to make the full profit. So I'd have definitely been better off financially by holding trades. And if it's a good enough position, a lot of the times when it goes sideways, all it's doing is just sort of laying down sort of support and resistance for the next move up. Obviously, the more it goes up, sideways, it tends to hold better as opposed to just rocketing up in one direction. I mean, you push up like that, can't sustain it. It's got to have a bit of a pullback. We pull back about 50% of it. But this... it pushes up, it goes sideways, it pushes up, it goes sideways, it pushes up, it goes sideways. So it's managing to hold. And that held. It came down, but it didn't break below there. And this held. It came down, but it didn't break below there. So I don't know whether I overcomplicate things or a bit too overcautious. The way I see it is if I can get a couple of trades a week at 3 points, that'll make me kind of plenty of money. But as we, as my journey continues and I see this happen more and more, then I may get to a place where I'm thinking it's a strong market. Perhaps I've just got to trust the fact that it's a strong market and take, have a go. But that's the issue I have at the moment with what I've just said. Have a go. Have a go indicates to me take a risk, because I'm not so sure. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of have to wait till you feel comfortable. And then if so many times you're staying out of trades that carried on anyway, at some point you'll start to identify that and start to maybe think about getting into them. So it's just one of those things that you have to kind of feel your way through this business. And a lot of times when it does this slow, I do stay out of trades. Sometimes it does come rushing back, but other times it pushes up. But based on the day in general, it's strong So when it does start to feel its way along this, perhaps it's a time to just trust things and take it. But, you know, I'm not quite there yet. And not only that, the issue I have with going along here is Thomas Wade's got this as a break. Now, you look at price, it rarely has such a strong move up, a small break, and push up a new high. So in my opinion, and if you look at the angle the top of this is going at, in my opinion, how he's got that trend, this is just my opinion, isn't quite right, because it's going up at this angle. He's got the channel more straight. So I know he's an experienced trader, so I'm aware he's got that as a break, which is why I'm not going long, because it rarely does that followed by that. It usually beats around the bush or goes around the scenic route. But the way this is working up this line to me tells me there's no break there. So if you look at the angle of the chart and look at the angle of price, it's working perfectly for me. So if I was convinced that this is a channel, then I may have had a go at something like that. But I am aware Thomas Wade's a way more experienced trader than me. And if he's got it as a break, you know, my ears prick up and think, okay, maybe he's right and I'm wrong. Do you know what I mean? The leg is complete. Thomas Wade was a good trade, by the way. The break and new low already happened, and you have it on your chart. Oh, the break and new low. The break and new low. You on about this here? Is that what you mean? I'm not sure what you mean there, but I don't know. Yeah. See, he's got that as a. Oh, sorry. You're thinking about this. Yeah, I wasn't on about that. I was thinking about how he's got that in a bigger channel. As we've had a break of this channel, it rarely has a break that small and pushes straight up. So that tells me that I think it's not a break, which is why I think it continued straight up. So the way it's working along that line, yeah. So yeah, granted that break new low, absolutely. You know, we that's played out. We could go higher, but the overall, if I 100% believe that this was a big channel, hadn't had a break, then I may have got in there. But because Thomas is showing that as a break, my conclusion is he's a lot more experienced trader than me. Maybe I'm missing something, you know what I mean? Because if you see price, it rarely has a small break like that and push up. Usually the bigger the channel, the bigger the break, the bigger the correction, the more it kind of pisses around for 20 minutes before it eventually, you know, we're reaching this spot now before it eventually comes down, which is why I was cautious there, because I'm thinking Thomas has got it as a break and we may have this, a push up and then another leg down, which is why I kind of kept out of this. But you know, every time you stay out of an area you learn, don't you? Every time you get into a trade you learn, every time you lose a trade you learn, and you constantly, to me it reminds me of driving on a motorway. When you're an experienced driver, your hands are constantly doing tiny little micro adjustments without your brain really even engaging. And that's kind of how trading works. Obviously, it's a little bit more technical. It just, you know, you kind of, after a while, you go on autopilot. But the longer you've been doing it, but how nice is that fitting? The longer you've been doing it, the kind of better it gets, you know. But the way that works along this line tells me it is working along the bottom of a channel, not necessarily a break. So this is interesting now. So I'm going to get rid of this for a second. So this is that magical 6,000 levels. So I'd be interested to see what happens if it touches this. Excuse me. Well, we a few ticks off it, aren't we? 3 ticks, 4 ticks maybe. Because a coach from a big football team here in Argentina once said, victory empowers you, losing humbles you and teaches you something. Absolutely. You do learn way more from your losses, don't you, than your failures. See, anyone dare you to put a short in? I'll tell you what, a couple of years ago, I'd have probably done that. It'd be interesting to see. Do you know what? The losses used to frustrate the hell out of me. What I was actually missing out is I was getting fantastic lessons to make me into a better trader. So I'd say for newer people, when you get your losses, don't beat yourself up. They're teaching you something. Kind of doesn't feel like it is, but when you start to avoid trades because you think, this looks like a trap, and you were right, it just goes to show you are learning. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it just goes to show. So there are some people coming out of there, not many. So sometimes when you think this thing is going to bounce, it rockets through it, doesn't it? But, while in the trade found, I try and look at what I did wrong. Yeah, you do learn a lot from your failures. You really do. They are great lessons. I mean, it's life, isn't it? They're life lessons in anything you do, really. You know, we're not born traders, are we? In fact, you know, I've read books that say we actually make bad traders as human beings. That's the weak link in trading, is the trader. Because, you know, we all kind of work on emotions, don't we? Yeah, see, Taylor has adjusted his now. Look, he's just changed his to make it fit. Because, in my opinion, it wouldn't have had a break like that and push straight up. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but... so he got in there, and rightly so, I'd say there. There's no reason why you can't, because it is in the channel. But because Thomas Wade has that as a break... Taylor had it as a break initially anyway, but Thomas Wade had it as a break up here somewhere. That kind of stuck in my head, so I blame Thomas. Let's get that away. But yeah, if I was convinced that was a channel up, then I don't think that was a bad trade. That one, it's a bit too inland, if you know what I mean. This closer to the edge and probably a bit safer. But in real time, you don't know it's going to do that, do you see? And I sometimes have a problem with doubting myself with these channels. But when I look back and realise everyone had the same sort of thing, I should be thinking, well, you know, I need to trust myself. But the trouble is, because there's so many failures in trading, it's very hard to sort of get that belief in yourself. You know, usually most jobs you fail once or twice and you learn and you don't make that mistake again. But with trading, it tends to, you know. Measured move hit on the daily. So for some reason, when I put the daily on, it freezes on my other account, on my other chart. Like, oh, it's gone black now. Now it's working. No, doesn't like the daily for some reason. Okay, now we got close to that. Is that high enough? Yeah, it's a good point, Lucas. It's good to ask yourself. I mean, there was times in the past that I just didn't know. And that's typically as a newbie, which is why for the first couple of years, I posted my chart every day on the Max Facebook group and just asked for feedback. But after a while, you get to a point where you kind of know. It's rare now that I take a loss and can't and don't know why. But it does happen once in a blue moon sometimes. I mean, there was a trade I think a load of us took a couple of months ago. We'd had a very small break and a ton of us took it. And I was quite surprised I couldn't figure out why. And I think that was the last time. It's a good... Absolutely, yeah. As a new trader, for 2 years, I posted my chart every day and asked for feedback. And it does help you because there's various different layers of experience in that Facebook group. And people like... I think the main people I find that helped me was Marco and Daniel as well. And who's the other guy that you don't see much as well? God, what's his name? He helped me quite a lot as well. Messages. What's it I chat to on the phone once in a while as well? Nick Sesto. He's helped me with my mental game a little bit. He's given me a few pep talks. I've had a message from you guys when I've had bad days in the past. And that's kind of what I like, everyone talks to everyone and it just does help you out a lot. Who's the guy I used to chat with quite a bit? Not so much. Just flicking through my phone now. Oh, Jope. Jope was another one that helped me a lot. I also talk... I talk to Martin Keychat once in a while. I talk to most of you guys. Marlon as well. Used to talk to Marlon, not so much nowadays. I must drop him a message actually. I've spoken to him a lot in the past, especially when I had bad days. He helped me out. I was about to mention that Trey, the lower high and the downtrend, and there was an extremely shallow uptrend in play. I think you spotted. Was very odd one that year. So what's happening to this? Is it still holding on that line? See, sometimes when you get these big days, you think... The one thing about trading something like this is, you're looking for longs. So that takes that thought process out. But so many times when you see these, and when I first started to learn to trade, I was trading currency. And we were trend following traders. So we would use a piece of software which would identify a strong currency against a weak currency, and that would give you a trend. And my impressions were in trending days, you make a ton of money. Well, maybe some people do, but sometimes I find trading day can be the most frustrating days of all. You see that big move, but you find very little ways in. The one I looked at the triple test I looked at, now I've adjusted this, that's close enough. But at the time, I had that a little bit further up. But that's it. Sometimes when you adjust this channel, as the day developed, all of a sudden it brings that top line closer to this. And in that case, I would have taken that triple test for sure. But at the time, I had my channel around about there, and it was working away from the top. But then when I sort of adjusted it and brought this into play, it fitted a lot nicer. So sometimes, but you learn stuff. You learn that maybe next time I should just have a go at it. Sometimes the channel can be adjusted, but sometimes when you leave these certain trades for a certain reason, you may start to take them at some point, but you have to learn, and you have to, the more I hear Mac talk about this is a skill and it takes time, the more I think he's absolutely nailed it. Look at this. There's a second entry long there, off the key entry point. Every time we've been off that key entry point, the trade's worked. And what's the bet? And if I got into this, it wouldn't. So, yeah, you could say a little break in a new low. But it's still working, look. What do you do? What do you do? If we got anything like that, usually, if it's not too clear legs, I usually avoid it. But, you know. Although, by the count, it's a second entry long. We're just getting very close to this top. Well, it is a second entry long. There's no arguing about that. It's only one leg down for me. I know I keep saying I'm concerned about a break-in. We haven't had one yet. But even if you have had a small one, depending on how you're doing it, you've had two pushes to a new high. And I might be overthinking things, but the last thing I want to do is take a bad trade at the end of the day. So maybe if we get a bit of a pullback here or a higher low. Thing is, I go for 3 points, which takes us it's got to push through to there. Yeah. My profit is taking it here. I don't want to be profiting here. That's definitely not. Yeah, so although this went sideways, it works. So there's no reason why Mac wouldn't mark that as a trade. But there's the failure there. I suppose you could consider that high or low, wouldn't you? Be interesting to see what Mac talks about this, how he has his channel. But how that's touching multiple times up there, for me, it's not a break. And if I'd have had that in my head and not thought that there was a break, I may have had a go at something over here. That one I wouldn't. It's too far inwards a lot of times. If it comes down, it could break below that and touch here. But I think the way that's trapping a bit of a bear bar, it's a breakout pullback. I don't think that's a bad trade. My only concern with taking that is at the time I thought there may be a break, so we could get a leg and a leg. Okay, we're getting up to this area now. We're 3 ticks away. Oh, shoot. Is it going to smash through it or what? Come on, make your mind up what you're going to do. So we're 2 ticks off that 6,000 level. So I'm guessing there's going to be lots of orders up there. There'll be some shorts, some take profits, I reckon. Let me have a look at that. Look at bookmap, see what that's showing us now. Yeah, there is. It's 500 orders at 6,000. You can see, and they've been sat there all day. Well, a chunk of the day anyway. And then some more above there. So I won't be surprised if it just smashes straight through there. Channel up, 1 attempt to go lower, 2nd attempt to go lower. Be nice to get a bounce here, 2 legs back. 2nd entry long off here, channel up, 1 attempt to go lower, 2nd attempt to go lower, and then up. So if I do get in here, I'm going to cut my profit target if down to 2 points, I think, because there's not a lot of space at the top. If you'd have got in there, I think about 2 points was about your lot, wasn't it? Yeah, 2.5 you'd have squeezed out of there. It would have to push through. No, for sure we'll mark then Golfing Bullish Pie, yeah. Thing is, it's in hindsight when you know it worked. I mean, it is a 2nd entry. My only slight concern is if there was a break, we then had 2 pushes up to a new high. So you don't know whether you're going to have a leg and a break. I don't know. Maybe it's me overthinking things. I'll definitely be interested to see how what he makes of this. If he'll have that as a channel, I can't see how he hasn't got it as a channel. Then he'd probably have that as a green bar. That one, maybe a blue one. That one obviously didn't work. That one quite likely as well. I think he probably will. So 2 attempts to go low before we push up. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but because it's such a strong market, and if it sits on, the right place there, which it kind of is, yeah, I mean, it's not something I was willing to risk. It seems that way. It certainly seems like they did. I know Bitcoin liked them. Crypto's just gone mad. Well, I mean, I don't know a hell of a lot about Donald Trump. I know sometimes he comes over a bit odd, doesn't it? But from what little I know, is he did some good things for the country. Just what I've heard, I don't pay too much close attention because obviously, I'm over here in the UK. But I mean, it was still quite divided, wasn't it? It wasn't, clear cut type thing. He did what he needed to do. But I think Trump's you love him or you sort of hate him type, I think, don't you? But he seemed to do. I think it'd be interesting to see how he handles Iran and Israel and Russia and all those. Doesn't sound like he'll take any mess in though. I mean, I think he was one of the only sort of Western leaders to go out to talk to what's it in Korea, North Korea, one of them, Kim Jong-un. So let's look at this. We got kind of a channel there. One attempt to go lower, second attempt. I don't know. I think it's going to be a dry day for me today. There's just not, whatever you decide to do here, there's just not a lot of space at that top. I don't know how price is going to react when it gets there. In fact, my experience, I think usually it'll push through it and then make its mind up. But there's big orders there, and there's orders 60001 and 2 as well, I think. So sometimes when it's this level, it pushes through, but it's hard to say. But I do like this kind of correction, but it's too high for me. If it was down here, that might interest me. A second entry long with the bar tail out sat like that would interest me, but nothing more. I don't think there's nothing I can do up here really. It's just there's no space. There's no room to the highs. So if you go there, I mean, it's a 1.5 to there. So. Yeah, that's the trouble. We're nearly at the 6K now, so I'd like a second entry long here. If we can get a second entry long down here, channel up, 2 attempts to go lower, I'd have a go at that. But here, there's just no space. If you're getting a tick above there, you'll get a 1.5. Well, you may not even get a 1.5. You've got to push through, so you get a 1.25. If price got to there, that's 6,000. You get a 1.25. Now, obviously, I go for 3 points. I've got to rely on price to go up there, which is way too high for me. Now, it may well smash straight through there and push straight up. It certainly could, but you always hear Max saying you need enough room to get out before the highs, and these are the current highs. So getting in here, there's just nothing to the. So getting down here is a different story. If I can get a bullish bar around about here, then I'll go for 2 points or 2.5 points, but I'm not going to go for anything less than that. It's just not worth it. 2 points, would work for me. If it was a good enough setup, maybe even 1.5 points, or just get out a tick. I always like to get out a tick below where these bodies close. That usually works. So second entry long here might not be a bad option. But also we have pushed up there and we've bounced once, bounced a second time. Possible failure there, it's hard to say, but if we can get a decent setup down here, I'll have a go. Yeah. I've got no problem with going for 2 points, absolutely. I wouldn't take anything less. I'd take 1.5 points if we didn't have a lot of space and I like the setup. Sometimes you've got to adapt, but most of the time. But I just aware about where we are. We're coming to this big level here. And I don't know quite how price is going to react. I'm guessing they're probably going to push through initially, but you don't know where they're going to snap back. So you've obviously got sellers up there and you've got people taking profit, which is selling. So that's quite a lot of momentum, isn't it? Downwards, you'd thought. So it is going bloody slow though, isn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 bars. In the last 20 minutes. I'm going to give this one last chance, see if it gives us an entry, and then I am done for the day. Coming up on 3 hours, yeah. Sometimes these days look easy, but they're not. It's not a huge amount of setups. Mind you, I'm sure Mac will find a few dozen. One interests me, that one there, which is confirming that. I like that. Obviously, it was too early. I wasn't around then, and it was large. It was about 4 or 5 points. But I like that, and it just took off. A higher low there might have been a better option. The trouble is, I noticed there was a couple who had this as a break. That's what made me nervous going along here. Oh yeah, FOMC. That'll be interesting to see how FOMC reacts to this. 7 o'clock UK time, so that's in an hour and a half. So that'll be interesting. What with all this, the election and that coming up, you just never know how it's going to react. I mean, it could rocket up, but we are, we're breaking new highs constantly in this channel up. And now we're hitting this level up here, so I'll be interested. In fact, I may even come back at 7 o'clock and just have a look, see what price does. In fact, I'm going to knock it on there, actually. It's just slow now. I'm concerned about going long here. We've gone up 1 second time. We've trapped some longs here. There's a failure there, so you don't know whether... I don't know. Okay, that's me done for the day, so I appreciate all your comments. If you carry on trading, best of luck. I might have a look later. But it's not often we do that in a day. Go continuously up. We did that there, but then we had pullbacks and all that. But that one, where did we open here? We had 2 legs back, and then the thing took off and never looked back. So that is a fair old move up from the overnight lows. Why doesn't that look like a big move? 48 points, is that it? I thought it was going to be a lot more than that. 48 points. Not as big as you think. So, okay, that's me done for today. I'm going to leave you guys to it. So, best of luck. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great evening. Stay safe. We'll catch up again tomorrow. Bye for now.